beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I are going to learn how to make this beautiful flare dress here. My client requested that I should recreate exactly what we have here, exception of the rope. So we are going to learn how to make this beautiful dress from start to finish outside the rope. If you are coming across this channel for the first time, my name is Grace. Please subscribe to this channel and share and like my video, because this will help more people to get to see this video. Without further ado, let's dive into the video. For this very style, we need the round waist measurement plus the length of the skirt. So we are going to cut the front separate and the back separate. If you check from the style at this thumbnail, you see notice that there is a pocket attached to it. Their waist is 34. I'm going to divide this 34 into 2, which is 17 inch. I need to calculate it. 17 divided by 3.414, sorry, that is the radius. We are going to have 5.4. Yeah, 5.4 for the front. So we are going to fold our material now. To know the amount of the length we are going to fold, remember I said that the length we are working with is 26 inch plus the hemming allowance of 1 inch, that is 27, and the radius when calculating we have 5 point something. I'm going to round it up to 6 inch. If you calculate 27 plus 6, you should have 33. So the width I need is 33 inch wide. For the length, as you all know, for Ankara print is always 45. So I'm going to fold it, making sure I have 33 inch or 34 to be on the safer side. As shown from the screen, you guys knows that I'm working with a waist of 34, and since I'm cutting my front piece now, only my front piece, I'm going to divide that 34 into 2, which is 17. And this 17, to get the radius for my front piece, I'm going to divide this 17 by 3.14. I will have 5.4 or 5 point something. I'm going to round it up to 6 inch. So I'm going to cut the radius of 6 inch. For now, I'm measuring the length of this circle. I'm measuring the length of my front piece, like I said earlier. After inputting this 6 inch, I'm going to go up by 0.5 inch. I'm going to mark 0.5 inch and I will connect. That will serve as a stitching allowance. So you see, it's ready. That is our front piece. For the back, we are going to fold this front piece back in a way, the same way we cut it out. We are going to fold it very well back, so that we can use this front piece to cut our back piece instead of to measure it again. It's going to be the same. The only difference between the front and the back will be the zip allowance. Yes, the front and back is going to be the same. We're going to fold our back piece this way. We will place our front on top of this our back piece, making sure that we left small allowance for zip, like 1 inch. The way we have this opening and this folds for the front is our center front, and we are going to place it facing our center back. Any way for the back can be the center back. Yeah, we are marking the zip point out like this. We have like 1 inch there. We are marking it out. So after marking, we are going to cut exactly what we have now. So for the front, for the back, we have 2 pieces. I'm marking 8 inch, and that is where my zip will stop. After that, I'm going to mark 2.5 inch. That is where I will that is where my dad was sorry, that 2.5 inch is where my pocket will start from. We are going to repeat the same for our front piece. We mark 2.5, and we are going to put that aside and cut our pocket now. For the pocket, we need 4 pieces, and we are cutting it. So I place my hand, making sure I curve it in a way that this curve is 1 inch away from my fingertips. I also measure to see if I have up to 7 inch, so that my pocket will not be too small or too big to be like a guide. That 7 inch is like a guide, so I'm going to cut it out. After cutting, I'm going to have complete 4 pieces for the pocket. So I'm going to place it right side facing, right side of the pocket facing the right side my of my dress. I'm going to stitch it down by 0.5 inch. After stitching, I'm going to flip it to the right side and top stitch. I will repeat the same for the back piece too. Top stitching the pocket is very important because it will allow the pocket to stay inside. I'm going to place the right of my skirt on top of my back and shape it by 1 inch. I'm going to use hot iron to remove that label out and also fold the hem of my skirt by 1/2 inch. Guys, you can see me using another pattern of Ankara here. Reason is because the lining I'm using is too small to waste. I'm actually managing my lining, so that's why I'm using this. I'm placing my tape, checking if I have quarter of a bust circumference plus 6 to 7 inch. After that, I'm marking the starting point. I also mark 11 inch, which is our bust point, our under bust 14, our waist 17, and I'm going to extend the lines. Again, guys, this Ankara is not what we are going to use to sew. We are going to use it as a pattern to cut on our lining, since the lining is not much. So don't be confused. I hope I'm not getting you confused. So I'm labeling this work out for the sake of this tutorial. I place a shoulder plus 1 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for east. I'm going to mark our bust span measurement, which is 4.5, and I extend it up to the shoulder line. I'm marking 2 inch up to the under bust point. From that under bust, I'm going to curve it to the bust point like this. I'm curving it back to the bust point, and from that bust point I'm going to draw a kind of slight line to that 1 inch for sewing allowance, and from that same point I'm taking it again to that 1 inch for ease allowance, like this. I also make sure those lines I mark are also drawn out on my back piece so that I will not get confused. Yeah, I'm trying to duplicate that line on my back piece. It's very simple. And after this we are going to cut out. Guys, have you seen how this pattern of princess that bustier is very simple? It's very simple and very easy. So it's a beginner friendly. I'm cutting it out now. I'm going to trim the length, that is the waist measurement, so that that downside will be straight. Trimming it off now. So after that I'm going to mark out this measurement I I have on the lining. I'm going to mark it out to serve as a guide for me to get my back piece. So after marking, I think I should level it for you to see the difference between the back and the front. And the 2 inch now, this time around, it's get to the bust point, and from that bust point I'm going to draw, and from that bust point I'm connecting it back to that 1 inch for ease, and from that 2 inch we are connecting it back to 1 inch for stitching allowance. So we are cutting it out like this. So after cutting it out, our front and our back piece is ready. Guys, make sure you watch this video to the end so that you learn the easiest way of making a princess that I think I should take you to my machine and show you how to stitch this down. Yes, let's go. We are on top of the machine now. I stitch by 1/2 inch, and immediately I pass this curve side, I'm going to increase my seams allowance to almost 1 inch. That this is for the back. For the front, I'm also going to show you what to do. By 1/2 inch, immediately we pass this curve side, we are going to increase the allowance as we sew to 1 inch. the breast cup is now ready. So we are going back to our table to cut out our normal measurement that we need. Yes, I put in small piece to bring out this bust point. I put a pieces there to make it kick up. So we are going to make sure that the line of this waist align. Where we stitch align, the back and the front align. So after that, I'm going to place my tape at under bust measurement and mark my starting point, which is 0 mark, like this. I'm also marking the neckline, how low I want my neckline and my front to be. I'm inputting the shoulder measurement plus 1 inch. I also place back the tape at our under bust, making sure I mark my armhole measurement, which is 8 inch. I'm going to connect my front neckline. For the back, I'm making it a round neck, and for the front is going to be a V-neck. I divide our bust circumference into 4 plus 2 inch for stitching allowance. Then I connect. I divide our waist circumference into 4. I mark. I'm going to add 2 inch for stitching allowance. Then I connect it back to the chest line, and from there I'm cutting it out. I'm kind of slanting my shoulder slope. Take it out. So after that, I'm marking out the side measurement, exactly what I have. I cut the back neckline, the shoulder, and everything like this is going to be the same. So after cutting, we are going to loosen this measurement again. Remember guys, that first time I forgot to tell you, we stitch it down with a loose stitch, and that is why it's very simple to loosen it. We make it with a loose stitch, so we are going to loosen it. I'm opening the zip allowance now, because for the back piece we are going to have 4 pieces. In total we are going to have 4 pieces like this. The center back and the side back. For the front we have 3 pieces, the center piece and the 2 side piece. So I've used this Ankara as a pattern to cut my main piece. I also iron a stay on my main piece. For the lining, I iron paper stay. So the Ankara piece is totally off. We don't need it again. So we are going to go over to our machine and stitch it down. So the same way we stitch the other time, but this time around we are going to make it a tight stitch, because we are not loosening this part again. We are going to stitch it down with a tight stitch. because this part will not be losing again. So we are stitching it down. After this, I'm going to repeat the same process at the other side of my sides front piece. Yeah, just watch and listen to my explanation. It's very simple. For this one, I'm going to stitch it quite different from the other one. Once I get to this under bust point, I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to use my finger to align it back to the shoulder line, and after that, from that shoulder line, I'm going to flip it and stitch it down in a way that it will not stress me, starting from 1 inch. Then when it gets to this curvy side, I reduce the seam allowance to half an inch, the same way we stitch the other side of our side piece. That is the same way we are going to stitch this side. I'm done, and I'm about to stitch the lining side the same way I stitch the main piece. That is the same way I'm going to stitch my lining piece. There is no difference, everything is going to be the same. So after that, I'm going to join my back piece together. I'm actually notching this my front and my back piece. I've opened it flat and iron it. I place my lining on top of my front piece, right side facing, and I stitch it down by half inch as shown. And after that, I'm notching it so that it will relax well on our body. I'm flipping it right side. I'm going to kind of push the seam allowance to face my lining. I'm going to top stitch by on I will top stitch on the lining, not on the main piece. After that, I'm going to close the side seam. Then I will flip it to the right side. These are our back piece. We'll stitch the neckline, top stitch, and shape the side seam. Turn our shoulder now, so we kind of put the front piece in between the back shoulder and the lining and stitch it down like this. Very neat. Even the back is neat as well, so we are putting that aside. I'm trying to check out the style, the sleeve style for this dress. So I'm marking 6 inch on fold, and the length is going to be very long. After that, I'm going to close it down. I measure the round armhole around armhole, so I'm going to times the measurement by 2. Please pay attention to the way I'm pleating this sleeve so that you not get confused. No, for the middle of this sleeve there is a bias running on the middle of this dress, so just pay attention to this sleeve. It's very simple. It's not something serious. And while pleating, make sure that the pleating are well arranged. If you can get the sleeve well, the shape of the sleeve very neat. For that waist, there is also a pleat at the waist region, so that one will be very simple. So I'm using my pin to secure this pleat so that it will not scatter or it will not pull off. After pleating, I will tell you what to do next. I'm done doing that. This midpoint is where I'm going to run my bias on it. Yes. So I put that aside. I'm working now with the waist pleat. For the waist pleat, I make it 3 inch on fold. If you check from the style, the length of the sleeve is bigger than that of the waist. So I'm shaping out my dress now. I cut off any excess and I'm going to join my upper part to the skirt part before I attach the sleeve. I will first of all attach the waist side of it before I attach a sleeve. Pleating the waist part of it now, and after pleating I'm running a bias. Look at what I'm doing. This is how far I've gone. I stitch the bias on it like this. I place the pleated area on this. I make sure I pin them. I stitch the bias one side of the bias like this. So after that, I'm going to flip it back and stitch it down. So at this waist side is only one stitch that will show. Unlike the sleeve, I stitch the two edge of the bias, but for this waist side I stitch one side first, and I'm going to flip that bias and stitch it down. You can see what I'm doing. I'm showing you. I've stitched the bias already on this pleated skirt on one side. So when I flip it to the right side, I stitch it on the wrong side of this bias. When I flip it to the right side, I'm going to top stitch. At this top stitching, I will make sure that I've placed the pleats on my dress and top stitch on it. It's very simple. It's a simple trick. For the sleeve, see what I did? I've stitched the two edge of my bias, quite different from the way I did to the skirt part of it. So I'm going to take it to my dress and tack it down. After that, this is the final look of my dress. It's looking very beautiful. Guys, let me know what you think of this dress in the comment section. Let me know if you truly like the outcome or not. Let me just know how you feel about it, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel, share and like this video so that more people will get to see this video. Please, I'm begging you, subscribe to this channel, just like my video. Till I see you in my next video. Bye. Before I forget, I have to tell you this. I'm taking this dress today to the market to weave it out, the armhole, the waist, because I don't have a weaving machine. Please make sure you deliver a very nice work to your whoever you're sewing it for. I love you so much. Stay tuned. I love you. Mwah.